My name is Simon Dell. I am the CEO of a company called SEMO. We are the marketplace for marketing people. I'm going to talk about how to build an iconic brand. Apologies to Pixie Cart, because we do something kind of similar to them. So that's kind of fairly awkward. I've been running SEMO for about 2 years. For those of you that don't quite get the name, SEMO is the phonetic pronunciation of CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. We were very lucky 4 years ago to be able to register a 5-letter domain, SEMO. So SEMO has been what we've been building for the last 2 years. The problem we solve, many businesses struggle with finding quality marketing people. So essentially we're a matchmaking platform to find those marketing people. Whether you want a consultant, whether you want somebody one day a week, whether you want them full-time, part-time, whatever you want. We have 167 marketing people on the platform at the moment who've all been vetted and interviewed and checked and have various skills and talents, from senior strategy people who've 40 years in the business down to graphic designers who graduated 2 years ago. So pretty much whatever you need from a marketing perspective you can find. We realize that a lot of businesses really struggle to find good marketing people. So that's kind of what we do. We're going to play a game. Now, you're more than welcome to get your phone out and open up a little note, because I'm going to ask you 5 questions. For anyone that's been involved in any event or any talk that I've ever done, there is always a quiz at some point in there. We do a quarterly event called DrinkTin, and at the end of that we have a quiz as well. But I'm going to show you 5 pictures, just 5 things. And what I want you to do is try and work out what the brand is. And I'm going to preface this by saying to you, I'm not actually going to show you the brand themselves. I'm not going to show you anything other than a picture, okay? So no logos, no pictures of the brand, nothing, okay? But what I want you to do is think about what brand I'm trying to get across to you, and write that down, and then we'll go back and check see whether you get 5 out of 5. Okay, so that's the first one. I'll give you all a couple of seconds to write that one down if you think you know what that brand is that I'm trying to get across to you. There's the second one. What brand am I trying to get across to you here, just by this picture, this item in front of you? Some gentleman nodding back there, he knows what it is. What brand am I trying to get across to you here? Now, I just want to stress, it is not the brand that is all over that gentleman's shirt, and it's not the brand that's on his tennis racket. But what brand am I trying to get across to you here? Number 4, what brand is this? A single M. What brand am I trying to get across to you here? And finally, perhaps the hardest one of the lot, what brand am I trying to get across to you here? Okay, we'll go through those very quickly. Anyone want to know that one? Nike. That's not the Nike tick, is it? But those of you knew that that was Nike. I could have put any tick in the world up there and you would have known that was Nike. That's the power of that brand. I can just use any tick. I don't even have to use the Nike tick. And most people will know what I'm talking about. What about that one? Sorry? IKEA. Lady there got it right. So that's not even something IKEA sells. They give that away for free. You can't go and buy one of those. You can go and get them in Bunnings. You can go and get them absolutely everywhere. But when we all see an Allen key, most of us associate Allen keys with putting furniture together, IKEA furniture together.
What about Amnesty International?
Sorry?
What about Amnesty International? That's a torture device.
Roger Federer. What do we associate with Roger Federer straight away? Gillette. The best a man can get. He's been the face of them for how long? Long, long time. Okay, again, didn't need to show you a razor, didn't need to show you anyone shaving, but a lot of people will get that that was the brand just from looking at Roger Federer. What about that one? Anyone? McDonald's. That's not the McDonald's M, is it? It's not even the right colours. It's not the right shape, nothing. But you put a single M on a piece of paper and we all know what brand we're talking about. That is the power of a big brand, of a very, very successful brand. And this is probably the hardest one of the lot, but the ladies in the room might get this one. Sorry? No? Tiffany. Who said Tiffany? There you go. The Tiffany blue, or the aqua, or whatever, aquamarine, or whatever you call it. It's hard to see there because it's kind of doesn't come up the same color on the page there. But Tiffany own that color. Most people, when they see that color, most women generally will associate that color with jewelry, luxury, and all those kind of things. So You know, flipping through those 5 things, certainly that one, as soon as anyone says it throws a tick at you, you know what it is. When people see the letter M. So this is the power of the brand. This is the power of successful brands over the years, of how they get into your consciousness and how you associate things with them so that you don't really need to smell a burger. You don't need to see a packet of chips. You know what you're getting the moment that you see the golden arches. So I want to talk today about what makes a brand, because it's complicated, and ultimately at the end of this I'm probably going to disappoint everybody here. And this is the sentence I'm going to read to you, and I want you to remember, because this is the very important sentence. A brand isn't what you say it is. It's what your customers say it is based on their interaction with it. Okay? I'm going to read that one more time. A brand isn't what you say it is. It's what your customers say it is based on their interaction with it. Now, I'll give you the best example at the moment of where a brand has fallen foul of this truth. Okay? And that's Qantas. Now, Qantas could be spending absolutely millions of dollars at the moment on brand advertising, on TV adverts, on new uniforms for their staff, and telling people about their mission and all those kind of things. But at the end of the day, it's wasted and it's shit. Because anybody that's had any real experience with Qantas, perhaps in the last 3 or 6 months, will say to you, the brand is what they say it is based on their interaction with it. The interaction with the Qantas brand at the moment, in this day and age, is terrible, is woeful. You need to spend 5 minutes on Twitter to understand how bad it is. So all of the things that you do as a brand, and all the nice logos and all the nice websites and the little polo shirts and all those kind of things, is irrelevant if people are having a shit experience with your brand. So the experience people have with your brand is absolutely vital. And that experience itself comes into 2 different areas. Okay? Now, if I remember rightly, I stole this from Westpac years ago. Probably about 20 years ago I stole this, but it still stands completely true. Is that experience with the brand is about 70% is the actual delivery, and that could be products, statements, the environment, salespeople, call centers, customer service, employees, all those things. So delivery is vital. The delivery of your brand is absolutely vital. But also the promise that your brand offers, the bit before they engage, before they get involved with your brand, that's important as well. And we've all seen brands that perhaps do delivery really well but do the promise really badly. Lots of small businesses do that. Lots of very small businesses, mum and dad businesses, retail businesses, do delivery absolutely perfectly. The customer service is great, the products are wonderful, but they do their marketing, they do their promise terrible. And my God, we've all seen brands that do the promise and the marketing really well and do the delivery absolutely terrible. Again, Qantas is one, sometimes Telstra is another, big companies that time. And it only takes one of those little blocks to fail, and all of a sudden, your perception of the brand is completely destroyed. And remember, again, all it takes is one of those blocks to fail, and it's based on what the customers think of you. And you go and tell people, and that thing where you tell people about how poor a service was, you know, we all do that. Twitter, face-to-face, whatever it is. So what I wanted to do was look at what the secret sauce here was in a brand. And this is where it's going to get complicated. Because the secret sauce for every brand is completely different. Tesla's secret sauce, a lot of it, is one man. It's his name, it's him getting up in front of the crowd, it's him delivering speeches, it's him trying to buy Twitter, it's him doing all these kind of things. Okay? The secret sauce for this brand really does rotate around one man. It used to be Richard Branson all those years, then it used to be Steve Jobs, and now it's Elon Musk. That brand that's built very centrally around one person. Yeah, the Tesla products are good and all those kind of things, and you know everyone wants to drive a Tesla, but the brand itself, the promise, very much driven by Elon Musk. And then you've got something at completely the other end of the spectrum. For anybody, I was going to say, who doesn't know the Wu-Tang Clan here? This is, you know, we're going street hip hop here, but okay, the Wu-Tang Clan, one of probably the most successful hip hop bands, groups, whatever you want to call them, in the last 20 years. But you try and pinpoint what individual one thing it is about the Wu-Tang Clan that's made them all multi-millionaires and made their brand go from fashion to, to design, to music, to film, to all these kind of things. It's very hard to pinpoint one actual thing that makes this brand successful. It's the combination of lots and lots and lots of little things that happen to work together to form a massively successful global brand. And then you've got something like this, which we all recognize probably from our own childhoods and probably our kids' childhoods as well, is Lego. And Lego's promise is very obvious, but Lego's entire brand is built on touch and feel and do. It's built on things clicking together. It's built largely on our own imagination, rather than the imagination so much of the people that make Lego. Okay? So you can look at that and just go, we all would perhaps use that differently. We might take it apart and build something else. We might play with it differently. We might enjoy it differently. We can't be told how to use this product. We just have to use it. Yes, we've got instructions, but beyond that, people go and build whatever they want out of Lego. And then you've got something like this, and I love the Intel brand, or at least I love the Intel brand 10, 20 years ago, because number one, it was built on a sound. We can probably all think about the Intel sound in our head that we saw on the TV adverts and all those kind of things. But one of the best things with the Intel brand all those years ago is that you couldn't actually buy anything from Intel. You don't buy anything from Intel, you buy something with Intel inside it. Okay, you can't, I mean, you can go and buy Intel chips, but that's not how we purchase these things, okay? Intel was something that always came with something else. It didn't stand alone as its own brand that you could buy. It was bundled in with other things. And then you've got a product like this. What makes Amazon great? Who the hell knows? Generally, just its size, just its sheer scale and volume. I mean, it sells books, but loads of other people sell books. It sells kids' clothes, loads of other people sell kids' clothes. It does loads of things that lots of other people do. It does delivery, but everyone else does delivery. So Amazon isn't doing anything particularly amazing other than the fact it's just huge. And its brand is just big. Really, above and beyond that, there's not much else to the Amazon brand. And the final one that I was going to show you here, which is what I love, is the story of Coca-Cola. And that we've all drunk Coca-Cola, we've all seen the brand, we all know that the intangible assets of Coca-Cola are worth billions of dollars themselves, even if they sold all the bottling plants and all the manufacturing and everything. The Coca-Cola brand standing on its own as a logo and an intangible asset would be worth absolutely billions. But we all know how it tastes. And more importantly, the bottle. The bottle is a clear, identifiable symbol of the brand. Now, when this bottle was designed, the man who asked for it to be designed went to the designer and said, I want you to create a bottle for this brand that people will recognize by touch alone. So that if you closed your eyes and picked it up, you'd know it was a Coca-Cola bottle. And there's not many products in the world that you can do that with. And Coca-Cola is one of them. So when I look at all these brands, what do they have in common? What is it that they need to do to become these world-class, identifiable, fantastic, worth billions brands? Well, here's just 6 things. Uniqueness, they need to be unique. They need to be visually identifiable so that you can tell what they are very quickly. They need to have a clear promise, and then they need to deliver that clear promise as well. They need a long-term vision. They need consistency. Every Coca-Cola bottle, every Coca-Cola drink you drink tastes the same. And then they need the right people involved in them. But the measure of which of those makes what brand is not something that you can determine. Each brand that we've looked at has a different bit of each of those things to turn them into the billion-dollar brand that they actually are. So the problem is there is no secret sauce in building a brand. There is no blueprint. And anybody that tells you otherwise is smoking crack. Okay? The challenge for you guys is to work out that secret sauce for your customers. What is it that they want? And how do you deliver that? How do you deliver that promise? And then you build everything around that. Because if we go back to this point, If they're going on saying about how great your brand is, everyone's walking around saying how wonderful your brand is, your product is, your service, and all those kind of things, you build around that. You don't sit there and build around a logo. You don't, apologies to John, sit there and build around a strategy session that you have in a boardroom. Okay? Go out there and build around what your customers are saying about you. And if your customers aren't saying nice things about you, fix that first before you sit in a boardroom, before you sit and do your nice brand and all those kind of things. Build around what your customers already believe you to be. And if that's wrong, you then need to go and change that. And my last thing today, why do this? Why is all this important? That's the simple answer today. That's the thing that does actually have an answer today, okay? It's because people spend more money with big brands. The better your brand, the more money people spend with it. The more often they come back and buy from you, the more they talk about you to their friends, the more money they spend. It sounds like a horrifically capitalist belief system, but that is the reality. Even if you're a not-for-profit, even if you're a for-purpose brand, you want people coming back to you and you want people engaging with you more often. That is the reason for getting this right. You didn't come this far, only to come this far. And that's pretty much it from me today, so thank you.